From an American perspective, the recent discussions surrounding Luka Doncic's conditioning and the Mavericks' future have stirred substantial debate. This review stems from Shannon Sharpe's reaction to the news, particularly after the All-Star break, as tensions seem to have heightened around Luka's conditioning and his overall performance. Shannon's discussion unpacks some key concerns about Luka, but also delves into broader issues that are not just about one player, but about the landscape of the NBA itself. The conditioning debate. One of the primary points of contention is Luka Doncic's conditioning, or lack thereof. Shannon starts off by discussing how Luka was supposed to use the break to focus on improving his fitness, but this seems to be a repeated issue. It's a critique that has plagued Luka for some time, and from a broader American viewpoint, this reflects a common theme in sports. The expectation that a superstar must consistently take care of their body to maximize their career potential. However, as Shannon and others have highlighted, while Luka's conditioning might not be at its peak, his performance on the court has rarely been anything less than spectacular. From the American sports ethos, there's a strong emphasis on maximizing physical potential, which often correlates to longevity and success in sports. LeBron James, as Shannon mentions, is the epitome of this, meticulous in his conditioning and preparation for over 20 years, achieving remarkable consistency and setting a gold standard for how an athlete can manage their body. Luka, on the other hand, seems to operate with a different approach. Despite criticisms of being out of shape or too slow, Luka has continued to post elite numbers, making some wonder how much more he could achieve if his fitness matched his on-court skill. The NBA's structural landscape. Shannon goes deeper by comparing Luka's situation to other high-profile athletes, particularly LeBron James. LeBron is brought up not just as a comparison of work ethic, but as a model for how athletes can extend their careers by investing in their bodies. This kind of discipline, structure, and commitment to one's body has almost become a benchmark for superstar status in the modern NBA. Luka, though still very young and immensely talented, might not be following that same rigorous path, and that's what concerns some fans and commentators. The conversation also touches on how NBA teams are structured around their superstars. Shannon notes how the Mavericks, like other franchises with major stars, have essentially built the team around Luka, bringing in people that Luka trusts and giving him substantial influence within the organization. This is quite typical in the NBA, especially when dealing with players of Luka's caliber. However, Shannon hints that perhaps the Mavericks' frustrations with Luka might go deeper than just conditioning, suggesting financial concerns or other internal dynamics that haven't yet been fully disclosed. Luka and the NBA superstar economy. Another critical part of the discussion revolves around the economics of being a superstar in today's NBA. Shannon highlights the financial aspects of keeping someone like Luka, who, despite his conditioning issues, is one of the best players in the league and commands a significant salary. Shannon suggests that perhaps part of the Mavericks' calculus involves their reluctance to commit over $350 million to a player who isn't fully committed to his conditioning. Yet, as Shannon points out, Luka's numbers haven't dropped off, and that complicates the issue. From an American sports business perspective, there's always a balance between talent and financial commitment. Franchises are willing to invest heavily in superstars, but they expect those superstars to also take on the responsibility of managing their fitness and performance, especially when they are given such influence over the organization. Luka's situation raises a dilemma. Do the Mavericks continue to build around a generational talent with potential conditioning issues, or do they look for a different long-term strategy? Shannon hints that the Mavericks' decision to trade could reflect concerns that go beyond the public narrative, possibly involving financial constraints or internal dynamics that have not yet been revealed. The broader NBA picture. Shannon's comparison of Luka to other NBA stars, like Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis, adds further context to the conversation. Both Jokic and Luka are criticized for not having the most chiseled physiques, yet both deliver elite performance on the court. Jokic, in particular, has faced similar scrutiny but continues to dominate statistically. This is where Shannon's frustration becomes palpable. Why then is Luka's conditioning such a focal point when his production remains so high? This dichotomy speaks to the evolution of the NBA, where athleticism is often prized, but skill can sometimes transcend physical limitations. Luka's game is built on skill, craftiness, and basketball IQ rather than sheer athleticism, much like Jokic. For American fans, particularly those who value the athleticism of players like Russell Westbrook or Kyrie Irving, this can be perplexing. However, Luka's slow, methodical style has proven effective time and time again, even if it doesn't fit the traditional mold of an NBA superstar. The LeBron factor. LeBron James' influence looms large in this discussion. Shannon rightly points out that Luka, now in Los Angeles with LeBron, has a chance to observe firsthand the work ethic that has allowed LeBron to stay at the top of the game for over 2 decades. LeBron's dedication to maintaining his body, both through discipline and investment, could serve as a wake-up call for Luka. As Shannon suggests, perhaps Luka will take cues from LeBron and adjust his approach to conditioning. From an American fan's perspective, there's a clear contrast here. LeBron's longevity is a product of his intense focus on physical preparation, while Luka's more laid-back approach to conditioning has raised questions. Shannon seems hopeful that Luka will take this opportunity to learn from LeBron, but there's also a sense of frustration. How good could Luka be if he applied the same level of discipline to his body as LeBron has? Conclusion. Ultimately, Shannon's reaction reflects a broader American perspective on Luka Doncic's situation. Immense talent, but potentially untapped potential due to concerns around conditioning. The conversation highlights deeper themes in the NBA, how franchises handle superstar talent, the financial implications of committing to a player long-term, and the evolving nature of the NBA where skill can sometimes outweigh physicality. Luka remains one of the league's brightest stars, but there's a lingering question. Could he become even greater by following in the footsteps of someone like LeBron James? For American NBA fans, Luka's journey is fascinating not just for his on-court brilliance, but for the larger questions it raises about the future of the league and how today's stars navigate the balance between talent, discipline, and financial responsibility.